Yo, buenos dias. ¿Qué pasó, you guys? John's Moto Garage. Welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about the Indian Scout today. I'm a little bit late to the game, but figure better late than never. And so here's my unsolicited thoughts and opinions on the new motorcycle. Truth be told, I dig it. I think it's pretty rad. When I first saw the Scout 101, I actually thought it was the new Sport Chief, and then I took a closer look and realized what it is. I think Indian is headed in the right direction, and I've said this before, but they really seem to be listening to the people. Listening to see what it is that people dig, what they want, looking at what the styles and trends are, and then actually trying to deliver that. So when it comes to this new Scout, I think they hit the mark for sure. But I'll just go over briefly the things that I dig about this new bike. I think it's the epitome of marginal gains. They're not doing anything drastic. They had a really solid platform that people liked. It seemed to be pretty popular, and it was a good solid running bike. I hadn't thought about the Scout in a long time, but when I first started doing demo rides a long time ago, I went out to Bike Week here in Arizona and I demoed the Indian Scout, and it was probably at the time the most fun I had on a motorcycle of all the demo bikes. For one, they let us out solo. We weren't stuck in like a demo group. But for two, it's just a really rad fun bike. It fits me pretty well, and it's quick, it's zippy, it's grunty, it's got personality, and I loved it. So now looking into the new Scout, especially the 101, like I said, I think it offers a lot. What do I like? First of all, with the Scout 101, I dig the inverted front forks. If you know me, you know I'm a wannabe like stunt dude, and I just think it looks really rad as well. And so yeah, I dig that. I dig the piggyback rear shocks. I know it's a little bit, the engine is just a little bit bigger, larger displacement, a little bit more horsepower, a little bit more torque. Again, it's just marginal, just edging it slightly in the right direction. I like that it's more stripped down looking. The frame, I believe now, is steel instead of aluminum, what it was before, but the bike actually weighs less, but that caters more to those who want to chop and customize and do all that kind of thing. I dig the look of it. Personally, I understand these custom paint jobs for like the high-end premium models. I like more of like a vivid gloss black look, but that's all subjective and personal. But even the custom paint, I do think it looks rad. The price point at $17,000, it's right there with the Sportster S. And with where bikes are priced now, motorcycles and cars in general, or vehicles in general, it's like, I feel like 17K is the new 12 or 13K. So compared with the Sportster, and I'll talk a little bit more about my thoughts on the Sportster compared to the Indian here in a second, but I feel like the price point's right about there. If I were to have the option of the Scout 101 versus the Sport Chief, I would have to try out the Scout. And Indian, if you want to send one my way, I'll gladly accept and rip it around for a little bit. I'd have to try it out, but I wouldn't be surprised if my pick would be the Indian Scout. I've seen videos of dudes ripping wheelies on those bikes, so stunt-wise, I know it is capable of doing all that. And for ripping around town and just mobbing and having fun, I don't think the Scout would skip a beat. I really don't. So let's talk about the Sportster and the Scout, because the Scout was always competing with the Sportster. Now the Sportster before, I've actually got one still sitting in my garage. It's the Iron 883. Bam. The Sportster, part of what made it so awesome and iconic is it was an awesome canvas that was super versatile. People could do anything and everything with it, and it catered to a very broad range of riders, or at least these are my thoughts, because you had newbies starting out on the Sportster and it did great. You had the 883 or the 1200. You had people doing custom chopper builds, custom bobber builds, turning it into a stump bike. It was a fairly reliable platform to work with, and you could just do a ton with it, and that was awesome. Well, what Harley is doing with the new Sportster, I think, is the complete opposite of what they had with the old Sportster, and it's the complete opposite of what Indian is doing with the Scout, in my opinion. Because with the new Sportster, you have the Nightster, which still comes in at about that 12K mark, so from a price point standpoint, it's still maybe appealing to the newer riders, but also it doesn't appear to be super customizable, and it doesn't seem to have that same appeal that the old Sportster platform had. And then you look at the Sportster S, and kind of the same thing. It's like a very narrow niche, or niche, whatever you want to call it, that it's catering to. And at the price point of 17K, I don't know, I feel like it's a hard or tough sell. And that's it. You got those two options. Now with the Scout, you still have a ton of different trims, different models, different options with the Scout, whether it be like the entry level 13K, just bare bones, you want to go with the basics. or all the way up to the 17,000 with the Scout 101. You've got all the different options. Let me know below, what do you guys think about this new Scout? If you had your option, which one would you pick? Like I said, for me, it would definitely be the Scout 101. I love the risers. I'd probably get rid of that front fairing. Put some mid controls. That's another cool thing. You can do mid controls. I thought you could do mid controls on the previous ones, but that was always a complaint. Drag bars with forward controls at my height, at 5'8", and just the way I'm set up, it's a terrible combination. But if you do drag ballers or a riser with a slight pullback and mid controls, that's perfect. And that's what the Sport Chief offered. And so that setup on the Scout, I think would fit me perfectly. I would probably pick that over the FTR. I'd probably pick that over the Sport Chief, to be honest. So I'm stoked on it. I think, yeah, it's got to be a fun bike to ride. Let me know what you know, or let me know what you think in the comments below. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Adios, hasta luego, nos vemos.